Okay, what's up guys, it's Lauren here, and today I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that I was a side chick. I'm going to get straight into it because my number one pet peeve is when people ramble before getting to the point, and yes. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a preface. This happened my freshman year of college. I just got done, so I'm about to go into sophomore year. And, my goodness, so school started in August, and I met Noah. I'm using code names, by the way, because yeah. I met Noah in like September or October. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was like the beginning of October, to be honest, because we only talked for like a month tops, like 3 weeks, like 2.5, 3 weeks. Just everything was happening so fast. It's like hard to like have like an exact time frame of like how this everything went down. So I met Noah in October, let's say, and for the longest time, I want to say from like all of September and up until I actually met him, I obviously didn't know his name. So with my roommates, when I would get along with them, I nicknamed him, and I don't want to say the nickname. That's gonna, okay, basically oh my gosh, that's gonna give it away too. Fudge! You know what? Screw it. So there was 15 floors in my building. I lived on the 5th floor, and he lived on the M level. So there's like, this is the first level, and then under it was like the M level. It's like a mezzanine or something like that level. So because I didn't know his name, and every time I would see him, it was like always by the elevators, and he was always coming up from like the M floor. So I nicknamed him M Daddy. Oh god, okay, sorry, just a lot of things went through my head when I said that out loud. I haven't said that in a long time, and it like makes me cringe. So that's what me and my roommates nicknamed him, because I did not know his name yet, and whenever I would see him, like, we'd always make eye contact, and it was always just kind of like that, like, it's like, that eye contact, but it wasn't anything like verbally said. So fast forward to, let's say, the beginning of October. I was in my dorm with my roommates, and I was in my room. We were about to go to sleep, and there was 3 people that lived in my room, and then in the other room there were 2 people. So we were all home, and then my roommate in my room had her boyfriend over. So we were all like talking and stuff, and we were like getting ready to go to sleep, because I remember my hair was straight, and I remember I was like getting ready to like wrap my hair. I just took off my makeup, like, I'm relaxed, trying to go to sleep. So I guess there were people like where my building was, like if I looked outside of the window, I could see anyone who like comes in and out of the building. That's the side of the building I was on. So for whatever reason, I remember looking out of the window, and it was Noah. And he was with his friends, and my roommate was like, it wasn't like a dare or anything. It was more of just like I wanted to say something, and I was feeling a little bit bold. I get in my moods a little bit where I just feel bold. I feel like I'm gonna do it. Like, if you say you won't, I will. So that can be really bad sometimes. Anyway, I look down, and I yell out, "Hey, you're cute as f-." And him and all of his friends like look up to like see who said that, because they were the only ones down there at that time. And I was like, "Yeah, you with the red shoe." One of his friends was like, "Hey, I think that's coming from 505. I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I started freaking out, like, because that was our room number. And I was like, how does he know, like, what our room number is? And so it turns out that how the building was, there was, like, one part in the middle, and, like, those were all the 05, like, 705, 605, 505, 405, like, those were all of them. So they obviously counted up, like, 5 floors, 505. So I was, like, freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh. They're like, bro, let's go up there. And I was just like, I just took off my makeup. I'm about to wrap my hair. Like, I'm not looking presentable. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Just thought, my dad is downstairs, and if he hears me talking to myself, well, he's on the phone anyway. It's okay. Anyway, so sure enough, I kid you not, at least 5 minutes later, if less than that, we hear a at the door. And I'm like, Oh my gosh, like they wouldn't, no, and it's not them, it's just a coincidence, like someone just happened to knock right after I got a little bold, you know? No, it was them. So my roommate went to go open the door and he was like, hey, like, were you guys the ones like yelling downstairs? Mind you, he's not talking, his friend is. He was like, is one of your friends like trying to get at my homies or something like that? And I was like, you know what? I made this bed. I gotta lie in it. So I walk out of the room and she has the door like a little bit open. So I'm like behind the door and she kind of like gives me a look and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's him. So I'm like, you know what? Put my big girl pants on. I'm about to just own up to what I did, you know? So I walk up and I put my head like out of the door and he was like, Noah was like, were you the one like who said like I was cute? And I was like, yeah, that was me. I was scared, but I did it, you know? Who cares? So he was like, oh, all right. And then my friend was like, oh, like, no, my other roommate was like, oh, did you guys want to come in? And they're like, oh, sure. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know, whatever. So they come in, they sit down. It's like Noah and I want to say two of his other friends. I don't really remember, but I remember sitting down, we're talking, and let's say that day was like a Tuesday. And so we were going to have a bonfire on Thursday at the beach. Noah was like, oh, like, are you going to be there? And I honestly wasn't planning on going or just like going late because I had to work that day. Keep in mind, I had to work that day, okay? And I was like, yeah, like, I'll be there. And he was like, all right, like, if you go, I'll go. And I was like, okay, for sure. And he was like, he had asked me for my Snapchat. And I was like, cool. I was like, I'm in. And then the subject changed, so I never did get his Snapchat. So I remember thinking in the back of my head, like, before he leaves, make sure to get his Snapchat. Because what if you're not able to see him afterwards? How are we going to contact them about the whole bonfire thing? Blah, blah, blah. So at the end, I was like, wait, I didn't get your Snap. So I added him on Snap. Now, I am not trying to, how do I put this? I don't want to discriminate against Android users. I'm going to feel like such a mean person by saying this, but Homeboy had an Android. It's okay. Like, it's okay. At that point, I did not care. I just thought he was so fine. Like, and I just never thought that this would have happened. Like, I just thought he was going to be like a distant crush, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think anything of it really. So I saw he had an Android. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I really don't care. But honestly, at this point, every nigga that I've talked to that had an Android ended up playing me. So now I'm like traumatized and I really just don't mess with guys who have an Android. Fast forward, I get his Snapchat, he leaves. I hit him up, and I'm like, oh, are you still gonna go? He's like, yeah, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm still gonna go. So Thursday comes along, and I call off of work just to go to this bonfire with this boy. I called off of work. Okay, lost money. At that point, I did not care. At this point, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, Lauren? You really put a nigga that you don't even know before your job? Whatever, let's not even talk about that. Call off of work. Thursday rolls around, Thursday night. I get to the bonfire, and at first I was we were having a hard time like meeting up because like it's a beach, like it's not the easiest place to like find someone at. So finally, when he ends up coming, you know, he brings a lot of his friends. Like he brings like 8 people deep. Like it's totally fine. Like we're having fun. At one point, we even like walk off from the group, and we're just like doing our own thing, talking, getting to know each other and stuff. And I found out that like he's the same sign as me. Like it was just going really well, and we were like getting along and stuff. So I remember at one point, you know, everyone started to like leave and stuff, and my roommate, I want to say like 2 of my roommates, I think they ended up leaving, so it was just me and my other roommate like left. I mean, there was 5 of us in total, but I think only 4 of us went or something like that. It just ended up being me and her left, like with some of her friends and then Noah. And so he was like, oh, like I have a ride for us back to school, like if you want to like tell your friend, like he's on his way. So I told her, and she was like, no, like I don't really feel comfortable like, you know, going with him. Like I don't really know him like you do. I'm just gonna go home with my friends. And I'm like, okay, cool. So Noah's friend pulled up, and I got in the car with him. We were in the back seat, like all booed up or whatever. his friend drops us off at school. Everything's fine. We get there safely, and then we talk about like making more plans to hang out and stuff. And so I think I went back to my house, or I didn't. I don't remember, but I do remember spending the night at his house that night. Everything was fine. We didn't do anything. He didn't try anything. Like, we were just like talking, like listening to music, like vibing. It was like a really good time. Like, we were cool. Like, I spent the night. It was fine. The next day, it was Friday. I didn't work on Fridays, so it was cool. We didn't hang out that day. Um, no, we didn't hang out that day. So fast forward like a week, maybe like 4 days later, I spent the night at his house again. Things sparked up a little bit. That's when, well, did we kiss the first night? I think we did. And so we like made out the second night. So after that happened, I went there with my pink sweatshirt. My pink sweatshirt. Ironically, I wanted to wear it for this video, but I felt like that was going to be a little like extra. So, wore my pink sweatshirt over there, I remember. The next day, this was red flag number 1. Listen to red flags. If you know it's wrong, it's wrong. I remember being there, and his friends, like, were calling him and wanted to come over. If you have a girl over that you like, and your homies are trying to come over, it's like, nah, bro, like, I'll let you know when I'm, like, done hanging out with shorty, like, I'll hit you up after, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you would expect. I mean, that's what I expected. I don't know. That's just me. He was like, oh, can you go get my friends? Me, my not vulnerable, well, my naive, stupid self was like, okay. And so he basically was going to sneak them in. I go and I let them in. Mind you, when I opened the door, his homies didn't say hi to me or anything. They just walked right in. Like, walked past me, no hi, no thank you, no nothing. I was like, okay. So I'm following behind them like a dumbass. Whatever. So he, in front of his friends, was like, yeah, bro, I don't even remember, like, being with her last night. Like, I don't even remember what we did. Da-da-da-da. I was off the shits, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, one, why are you like bragging to your friends like our business? And two, like, that's so unnecessary. Like, I don't understand. I remember texting him like later on that day, and I left my jacket there because he was like, oh, like, I want to wear it, like, I think this is really nice, like, this is our jacket now, blah blah blah. Like, okay. And we had plans to hang out after they went to the gym. They were gonna go to the gym, play basketball, then I was gonna link up with him afterwards. That never happened. So for that week, from the first time we hung out at the bonfire to when he had his friends over while I was there, it was like very consistent texting, good morning, good night text, like calls. I saw him pretty often. Like, it was good. Like, we were on good terms for that week. After that week, things started to get a little bit like weird, and like he would only hit me up at nighttime. Red flag number 2. When he only hits you up at night. Why can't we hang out in broad daylight? Why can't we go to the mall together? Why can't we go to, you know what I mean? Why can't we be out in public together? Only hitting me up at nighttime, or lagging for a long time. And I stopped going to his house, and he started coming to my house more. So there's at one point where basically he sold weed. And he was talking about how, like, we had this jar of like candy in our dorm. He was like, oh, like, he's like, I want to buy some of those so I could separate like my weed for like when I sell and stuff. So me being a nice person, generous person, I just like to make people happy. I knew that we sold those at my job, so I went to my job and I bought him like 4 of those jars that he was talking about that night. And I didn't tell him I think I did tell him I was gonna buy them for him, but he was like, no, you don't have to, blah blah blah. I was like, no, like, if I have the means to, like, why not? So I got the jars for him. I spent money on this nigga before he spent money on me. So he tried to give me money for it after I bought it, and I was like, no, it's okay, like, don't worry about it. He was like, oh, okay, you're so sweet, blah blah blah. Another thing that he would do, whenever he would come over, it would never just be him. He always had to bring a friend over for whatever reason. So I think I spent the night at his house like one more time. He never stayed over at my house because it was just easier for me to sleep over his, just because there was only like one other person there rather than me having like 4 different people. The lighting is changing. It's okay. I'll try to speed it up, but there's so much more to tell. Okay, anyway. Yeah, one thing that he would do in front of me and his friends or whoever was around is he'd always like brag about us, but not in a like, oh, she's so cute, like look at her, almost just like, yeah, like I got that ass in check, blah blah blah, like little slick stuff, but nothing to where I would like really click on it enough to like say anything. It would just kind of just be like a noted, like a minor little noted type of thing. And I don't think that that's okay. Like I should never brag or talk about you in a way that's like you're like a toy, like bragging about you like you're a toy. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was just a very uncomfortable feeling sometimes. Like it was just weird. So his best friend, brother, friend, whatever, what did I name him? Brandon. He plays kind of like a big factor in this. He kind of started talking to my roommate, so it's kind of like the 4 of us that would hang out in my living room, and we would just like talk and stuff. Although Brandon was always like slumped every time like he came over my house. Also, Brandon didn't live in our building. He lived across in another building, and the way his room was, I could like see them. Like if I looked out of my window, like he could see me, I could see him. Like that's how it was. It wasn't like super close, but I mean close enough. Like it really wasn't that far. Like we could like see each other from each other's window. So Noah would spend a lot of his time at Brandon's house as well. Okay, fast forward, we come to the end of October. The week before this whole thing that I'm about to say, this is when he was being like hella shady. Not talking to you throughout the day. Really lagging, like so bad to like I should have been like cut him off and just like called it quits. That's my dog. Why is someone at the door right now? Oh.
Where's the air tag? I didn't tell my dad you were You're gonna tell me your dad was here. I'll just bring it in your bathroom bag. And my house like, why is she taking so long? My neighbor.
A week before Halloween, that's when he started being really shady. And so the weekend before Halloween rolls around, Halloween was on a Tuesday. I don't know how I remember that. It's on a Tuesday, so that Saturday, oh yeah, this is my friend Shamar. The Saturday before Halloween comes, I had not talked to him for a good 4 days. Like he just did not talk to me, like totally ghosted me. Oh wait, before that, I want to say 2 weeks before we stopped talking for like those 4 days, my roommate called me and was like, wait, hold on. A quick intermission. I should get a book down. Damn near. So, my roommate FaceTimed me, and then she ended it, and I was kind of like, okay. And around that time, my roommates and I didn't really get along with her. We kind of like grouped up and left her out. Like, it was mean that I think of it now. She FaceTimed me and then ended it. And I remember talking with 2 of my roommates. I think my other one was at work. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why is she calling me? So, like, 5 minutes roll around. And her friend, which I got along with more, FaceTimes me. Or maybe it was off of her phone. Regardless, she showed up on the camera and was like, Lauren, like, we need to tell you something about Noah. This is my roommate talking. No, actually, my roommate's friend is talking this whole time. She's just sitting there, not saying anything. My roommate's friend is talking for her. We'll name her Sheer. Nikki. Or Sheer? Yeah, I don't know Sheer. We'll name her Sheer. Sheer was talking for her, and she was like, damn, I have to name my roommate. Sheer and Nikki. I'll just say Nikki. Okay, Nikki is my roommate. So She was like, Nikki just ran into Noah, like, as she was walking to my house, because Sheer lived off of campus. She's like, oh, she ran into Noah, and he tried to get at her, and tried to get her number. And then this is when Nikki chimes in, and she was like, yeah, but, like, I knew that, like, you guys were talking. I knew he looked familiar. And in my head, I was like, why are you trying to talk to me? Like, you're talking to my roommate. So then I go, well, did you tell him that? Did you remind him that you were my roommate? No, I couldn't get it out. And so at this point, I'm like, what the hell? And she doesn't know that I'm with my other two roommates. So I'm looking at them like, is this bitch, like, serious right now? So I'm not showing any emotion, like, at all. Especially when I don't really, like, mess with you like that. I don't need you to, like, know how I feel about, like, the way I feel. Like, I don't feel like you deserve to know that. So I'm just kind of like, okay. And so Sheer is like, yeah, like, I'm so sorry, but, like, you need to, like, stop talking to him, blah, blah, blah. Like, we care about you. Like, you know, that's not cool for him to do that. So I was just like, okay, like, thanks for telling me. I hang up. Then I'm talking with my two roommates, and I'm like, this is, like, total BS. Like, I feel like she just did this. Like, and mind you, she has a boyfriend. So I'm like, I don't even know why she didn't tell him, like, hey, I'm not interested, I have a boyfriend. Or at least, like, hey, like, you're talking to my roommate. Like, say something. But the fact that she didn't say anything makes it sus on your part. Little did I know, I should have just believed her. I didn't. So that happened. I remember calling him right after and being like, what the hell? Like, why are you trying to get my roommate? He was like, I would never do that to you, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to get her number, like, for the homie. Like, it wasn't anything like that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. Like, I believed him, whatever. So fast forward, this is to when I hadn't talked to him for, like, a good 3 to 4 days. And this is the weekend before Halloween. So, what's his name? Brandon is posting flyers on his Snapchat for Halloween parties. So I'm like, let's go to a Halloween party. And at this time, I kind of made up with Nikki. I kind of made up with her. So it was me, Nikki, and then my other roommate. I don't want to say her name, but the three of us were gonna go to these parties. So Brandon is posting these parties, and usually most of the time they always go to pop-in parties. So it's like, okay, let's go to a party that he's, like, promoting. So we go to the first one and it gets shut down. Then I'm like, no, okay, he posted another one. So we go to the second party. This one's popping, like, it's in a nice, like, little venue. Like, it's hella hot in there, and, like, it's popping. It's really nice. Like, I remember my outfit was really cute. I had, like, an off-the-shoulder, like, shirt on with, like, high-waisted shorts. Like, my makeup was on point. I had, like, a glitter, like, cut crease going on. Like, I was looking cute. And so we pull up to this party, and right away, who do I see? I see Noah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, this nigga has to talk to me. Like, I'm on some, like, whatever. Like, I don't even care. But of course, I'm, like, going through these motions of, like wanting to ask him, like, how come we haven't talked, but, like, not trying to be crazy. And just a lot of things are going through my head. But I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm not gonna let this, like, bring me down. Having a good time, dancing, cool, whatever. And then it turns into, like, to where I end up seeing him and making eye contact with him. So I just, like, look at him, and he's like, oh, hey. And I'm like, hi. And he gives me the driest hug ever, like, a side, like, friendly hug. I don't even get, like, a meaningful, like, chest to chest hug. Like, it's a side hug. And I'm like, okay, like, that's weird. So he doesn't, like, give me a kiss, like, no, nothing. I was just like, all right, like, cool, whatever. I'm dancing. I'm not dancing on any guys or anything, because for some reason in my dumbass mind, I still feel somewhat, like, attached or, like, obligated to be, like, loyal to him, although we're not together and whatever. So I don't dance on any guys. I'm still having, like, a somewhat good time. And so I noticed that Nikki and my other roommate keep, like, whispering to each other, like, without, like, talking to me. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I'm like, they're talking about Noah. So I'm like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, nothing. And I'm like, you guys just tell me. They're like, no, it's fine. So I have to just, like, look over, and, like, a girl's dancing on him. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, that's what we were talking about. And then, but there was something else they weren't telling me, and I knew it. And I was like, why aren't you guys telling me? They're like, no, have a good time. We'll tell you later. Like, don't worry about it. Like, just enjoy yourself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, but it's hard to do that, like, knowing that there's an underlying message, like, going on between you guys. So, I we end up walking out because it was getting really hot, and I see him hugged up, like his arm around this girl, kissing her on the cheek, like she's all like cuddled up, like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So when I see that, I look at him and I was just like, that's you? Alright, bet. I walk out, I'm like, whatever. Then I ended up seeing, what is his name? I ended up seeing Brandon. And Brandon kind of like gave me a look like he was like upset with me, but I'm like, what the heck? Like, I haven't done anything wrong. Like, your homie's the one that's like literally been playing me this whole time. Like, and this is like his actual girl. Like, she was his main priority, and that's why he gave me such a dry hug. That's why he hadn't been talking to me. That's why he had only been hitting me up at nighttime, because that was his main, no, not his main chick. I was the side chick. Anyway, after that, I was just like on some like, alright, if that's what he wants to do, like, I don't care anymore. So the whole night, there was this light-skinned guy that was just like so gorgeous to me. Like, I just thought he was so cute, like, the whole night. I'm like, who is that? Like, he had tattoos, he had his shirt off, blah blah blah. So then Grind on Me, or Slow Grind comes on, and I'm like, I want to dance on someone, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to, whatever. Like, the party's coming to an end. So this light-skinned guy that I've been eyeing the whole night comes over, and he was like, I want to dance with you. And I was like, no, it's okay. I actually declined it. Why? God knows. I declined it, and then Nikki and the other roommate I was with was like, no, like, she's gonna dance with you. So they turned me around and like pushed me on him. I dance on him. Noah comes by and like grabs my arm. Like, after I was done like dancing on him, he like grabs my arm really hard and almost like kind of like shoves me, or like grabs me as if he was gonna like pull me to go talk to him, and like walk past and like storms, like he's like pissed off. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you have no right to be upset at me right now. For one, I just caught you with basically your girlfriend. I didn't say anything to you. You were already dancing with girls before that. You ghosted me for a good 4 days now. Like, gave me the driest hug. Like, how dare you, like, say that? But I knew he did it, so he knew that I saw him not talk to him for the longest time. Come back, I had been texting him, I want to say like a month later. I hit him up like, I want my sweatshirt back. Mind you, I did not get my sweatshirt back from the first, like the second time that I hung out with him. I never got it back. It was always on some, oh yeah, like I will, blah, 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 I will, yeah. Never got the sweatshirt back. Okay, so this is a different day. I'm in a different outfit. I don't think my makeup's as like, as it was before. But different day, different outfit. I ran out of storage, so when I went to go film the end of where I left off, I deleted that video of the end part of this whole story. So now I have to refilm it, and I just never got to it. It's like 2 days later. But I have a list of like all the things that I left out. I noticed that I left out while I was editing. Oh my gosh, I closed my book and now I can't find the page. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the list really quickly. I left off on me not being able to get my sweatshirt back. I still haven't gotten it back to this day. I actually ended up buying it again because I got it from my job originally, and so I saw it like a month before I moved back here. And I was like, you know what? I really liked the sweatshirt. I'm never gonna get it back from him anyway, so let me just buy it. So I ended up buying it again, so I have it behind me. Maybe I'll wear it one day in a video or something. I don't know. Let's see. So I never got it back, but I ended up seeing his girlfriend with it on, and that just had me livid. But you know what? I don't know if she knows that it's mine. I don't know if she thinks it's his. Who knows? But I did see him pretty often towards the end of school, because since he got kicked out of the building that that we both lived in, he started living with his girlfriend, the one that had my sweatshirt on. And now that I think of it, I'm thinking, like, was she the girl that, like, I caught him with at the party? I don't know. It would make sense if it was her. But then again, knowing how he moves, it could have been, like, a whole other girl. I'm going to go down the list of things that I left out really briefly. I don't want this to be long because it's already a long video. And honestly, if you made it this far, I honestly love you. Heart to heart, I love you. I appreciate your patience. So, 1, he would leave me waiting at night. He would tell me, oh, I'm gonna come over, or oh, I'll come get you, you can come over, and he would just never show up. I would wait till like 4 in the morning for him. Like, now that I say that out loud, it's just like sad. It's sad. You should never ever have anyone waiting, and you should never wait up for someone. 2, in December, I actually saw him for the first time since the whole thing at the party happened. So from the end of October, all of November, I didn't see him. And the first week of December, I ended up seeing him on campus. And I was actually with my boyfriend at the time. And I saw him, and he had my sweatshirt on, and I was pissed off. Like, I didn't even know how to, like, express how I felt. And I actually ended up getting broken up with that night because my boyfriend at the time felt like I still had feelings for Noah because of the way I acted, but that wasn't the case at all. It was just, I was pissed off that he had my sweatshirt on, like walking around like it's his, when I had been asking him for it for over a month. And my friends had pressed him about it. Like, I had even like gone to his house like at one point and was like knocking on the door, like wanting to get it back. But at that time he had already like gotten kicked out, so no one was there. But yeah. And then at one of the times that he had ghosted me, he said that his sister had died, and he had been going back and forth from LA to SF. And it was just more of like, I understand people have ways of coping with things, but it was like, why don't you want me to be there for you? Like, I know how it feels to lose someone like close to you. So I almost felt like I could like help him through, or at least just be there for him, just be like a good support system, you know? And then he was also posting on social media, like, while he wasn't talking to me and stuff. And I realized that throughout the video, I was saying, like, 2 weeks later, a week later. It really wasn't that long. It was just in the matter of, like, all of October. But I feel like it just felt so long, although it really wasn't. But, like, a month is a pretty long time to be, like, messing with someone. And that's pretty much all that I left out. Yeah, so I'm going to cut this short. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it if you made it this far. There are going to be more story times on the way. And I'm reflecting. I have other things that I want to just, like, you know, film, put out there, and share. And I just appreciate you for watching it. I love you. I honestly do, for making it this far. Wow. And I hope that you have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. And yeah, bye.